morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This, of course, is Corbus Wayasti. And I told you that I would bring you eventually Star Trek Online information. In case anyone's interested, remember this is free to play on Xbox, PlayStation, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the PC. So you can play it pretty much wherever you want. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is Starfleet. Now, you got to remember that Starfleet is actually like the naval military unit of the Federation of Planets. But Starfleet is made up of the soldiers from this Federation of Planets. And just like any faction, you can get engineers, science, and tactical. Starfleet was one of the first two factions that you could originally play with when the game first came out. It was the Starfleet faction and the Klingon Defense Force right here. But we'll talk about them in another video. And you get different things here. Now, I'm going to go through each one of these so that you can see exactly what it is that they do for you. Because you see, each of these races actually have specific, what are they called? Innate traits that they come with. So, for example, we're on human now. And the human, give me 1 second here. The human is space. It gives you a space bonus of 30% subsystem repair and hull regeneration rate. And then a plus 60% out of combat. And they give you a ground bonus of plus 5% team exploit damage, which means you get a little bit better of a critical hit, basically. The Andorians, they give you just ground bonuses. So this is only when you're on the ground and not in your ship. Ground bonus always means on the ground, not in your ship. Space bonus always means in your spaceship. But they give you ground bonuses of plus 10 perception, plus 10% exploit damage, plus 25 resistance to flanking damage, and a bonus damage for each point of missing health, which increases greatly as health nears 0. And the humans and the Andorians are both free to play. Then you have the Bajorans, and they're free to play. They give you plus 0.2% healing to shields and hit points, plus 10% bonus to healing abilities used on you, and plus 0.1 regeneration, and those are all ground bonuses. Now, the next one, which are the Benzites, they also are just ground, which is plus 10 resistance to physical damage, plus 33.33 resistance to toxic and radiation damage, and then plus 5 to resistance to energy damage. Free to play. Then you have the Betazoids, and they're free to play. All ground, plus 10 perception, plus 1.5 exposed chance, plus 1 second of exposed duration, reduce threat, and increase team regeneration. Free to play. The next one is the Bolians, and they are all ground. Chance for toxic dot against attackers who bite you, and dot is damage over time. Plus 10% maximum hit points, and plus 20 resistance to toxic damage. Free to play. The next one is the Katanes, and they are 600 Z points. I forgot what they're called, but they're in the C store. You pay 600 for them, which is 10%. They're all ground. 10% chance to dodge half damage of ranged attacks. Plus 75% jump height. Plus 10% perception. And plus 10% exploit damage. The next one on here is the Cardassians. The Cardassians. And the Cardassians are 1,000 Z whatever in the C store. And they have a space bonus of recall tactics. They gain a stack of recall tactics once every 5 seconds during combat. +2 accuracy rating per stack for 5 stacks. +2 defense rating per stack for 5 max. And +2 weapon damage per stack for 5 stacks. Then they have a ground bonus resistance for placate, confuse, hold, stun. The next ones on the list are your friendly little greedy jerks, the Ferengis. They have ground bonuses of +10 perception, +25 flank damage reduction, +10% exploit damage, 20% energy credit, gold, press platinum store discounts, and plus 0.33 resistance to toxic and radiation. And the reason they get the money buff is because the Ferengis are all about money. Their Bible is basically a laws of financial gain. The next one are the joined trill. Oh, the Ferengis are free to play, by the way. I'm just looking up the joined trill. This is a lot to remember. That's why I have to look them up. A reduction in damage resistance and +10% health regeneration on ground. A space bonus. Bonus skill points. +3 hull repair, inertial dampeners, power insulators, sensors, shield emitters, weapons training, weapons, and warp core potential. And +7 in gravitation generators, particle generator, and subspace decompilers. Now, eventually you'll learn what all that means. It would take a really long time for me to explain every single bit about that. The next one is the Starfleet Klingons. Now, you may go, why is there a Klingon defense force, but yet you could be a Klingon in the Starfleet? Well, there's Worf. Worf from the Next Generation was a Klingon who was actually in the Federation. There was a Klingon on the Voyager ship as well that was in the Federation. But there's 600 Z points in the C store, and you get ground bonuses of +15 physical damage, +5 all damage resistance rating, +5% all energy damage, +15% critical severity, and +10% threat generation. The next one, you have the male liberated Borg. Well, the liberated Borg. Now, the liberated Borg is only if you're a lifetime subscriber. You can only get a Borg if you are an actual lifetime subscriber. Their space bonus is +30 spaceship warp core efficiency. Their ground bonuses is +10 health regeneration and +6% shield regeneration. Next, we have the, I want to say that's called the Packlids. They're free to play. You get plus all ground abilities, +4% critical chance, +30% or -30 stun resistance, -30 confuse resistance, and it looks like, yeah, -30 placate resistance. The next one, free to play again, is the Regilians, and for them you get ground and clickable abilities. Spirit Walk ability, +60% is the clickable ability. +60 hit points, +9 hit points a second for 6 seconds, +100 all damage resistance rating for 6 seconds. I'm assuming Spirit Walking is like phasing into another dimension. Then you have the Surions, and what they give you is ground, +10 plasma damage resistance rating, +40 toxic damage resistance rating, +25 fire damage resistance rating, +10 perception, +5% exploit damage, +20% resistance to flanking damage. Then you have the Talaxians. Now, Talaxians, like the Borg, lifetime subscribers only. And you have space and ground bonuses of plus 5% incoming healing to self and team, plus 5% skill points and expertise to team. The next one we have is the Tellarites. They're free to play. And you have ground bonuses of plus resistance to physical and kinetic and placate, hold, and knock. Then you have 50% chance for plus 20% all damage for 20 seconds when receiving a critical hit. And click stubborn to free yourself from confuse and placate effects. Placate sort of like a stun type thing. Their ground... That was their ground. I'm an idiot. Next, you have the male Trill, or the Trill. They're free to play. You get ground bonuses of plus 33% radiation damage resistance rating, plus 33 toxic damage resistance rating, and 0.1 health regeneration. Next one are the Vulcans, like Spock. They are also free to play. And you get a ground bonus of... bonus resistance to psionic, placate, and confused. 0.15 bonus to melee damage. 15% chance to knock down the target if your melee attacks. And then, of course, Alien. No species trait. Instead, alien captains are given one extra trait slot for each ground and space. So basically, any of these will have those traits I told you. The aliens do not have a trait. In fact, you get one extra skill for ground and space because they don't. You get one extra trait slot because they don't have any traits that are locked from the class or from the race info. And, oh, here's all the info. And then, of course, you have all these, which we'll talk about those in another video. We're not going to start on that. I just wanted to give you an idea of the Starfleet first. And then we're going to go into play, and I'll meet you guys in the game. Alright, so here we are. And we are currently in the ship requisitions. Now, this is the person you go to each time you get to a new rank. Which I'll show you here. Each time you get to a new rank, you'll be able to get a new type of ship, a better ship. You start with the bridge out, this one here. And then when you get to 1, you get a new ship. And then when you get to level 10, you get a new ship. And then when you get to level 20, you get a new ship. And then 30, you get a new ship. 40, you get a new ship. 50, you get a new ship. I think there's a new ship. Nope, there's no new ship on 50. You get a new one on 55? No. 60? No. 65? No. But you get a hero ship card. I don't know what that is. I'm not there yet. But, okay, so there's 3 types of main ships. There's science vessels, cruisers, and escorts. Now, technically, on the Starfleet side, escorts are usually piloted by tactical officers. The cruisers are usually engineers, and the science vessels are usually science. Now, you don't have to follow that. I'm just saying that's normally what happens. So, escorts, you have things like the light escort, that escort, the basic escort, the escort retrofit, which is actually a C-store item. The heavy escort retrofit. All retro refits are going to be C-store. The tactical escort, and as you can see, there's not a huge difference between them. They're just like, this one has an extra engineer slot, as you can see right there. And it has an extra engineer console. There's the advanced escort and a patrol escort, and the tactical retrofit, and then you have the multi-vector advanced escort, which is a C-store item, as you can see there. There's a Z right there where my mouse is. That's always going to say that you need to buy it in a C-store. the Heavy Escort Carrier, the Chimera Heavy Destroyer, the Fleet Escort Retrofit, the Escort Retrofit, the Fleet Tactical Escort Retrofit, which is actually, that's the design of the Defiance from Deep Space Nine. Really neat design, too. And then you have Fleet, and all these Fleet ones, you have to be in a Fleet, you have to have, right down here, you have to have Fleet credits, and you have to have Fleet ship modules. As you can see, I have no Fleet ship modules. So, yeah, doesn't matter for me. Now, those are all the types of ships you can get for escorts. Then, of course, you have cruisers. Now, cruisers are actually the more common that you would see in the shows. Like, there's the original Star Trek ship. It's a C-store item, but that's the original. This one was used in a lot of the episodes. I'm not going to go through them all name by name. That would take forever. But you can pause it if you see something you're interested in. This one is the Star Trek Next Generation style. And that's the retrofit version. Which I believe this is the future version of it. That one is huge. That is a really big ship. The biggest ships in here are... That's another Next Generation ship. That's the Next Generation ship from... I forgot the name of it. It's the one where Picard was jumping through time. And Captain Riker used this Enterprise. So it can disappear. And I'm going to go through real quick. And there's just so many of them. It's ridiculous. You can look it up on their website. But there are just so many of them. It's just like, yikes. These are the temporals. These are temporal agent ships. Ships from the past, basically. And they're pretty big too. And then of course you have the science vessels. Like this one. And that one. And that one. And that one. This one actually, when it came out, was called the ice cream cone because if you do this, kind of looks like an ice cream cone without the nacelles. This one is really interesting design. And like I said, these are normally used by science officers. Honestly, the size of the tacticals escorts are kind of like fighter ships. Bigger than a shuttle, but smaller than a actual main ship body. And like I said, there's a lot of these, so I'm not going to go like through every single one. I'm just going to kind of look at them. If there's one that you are interested in looking at, put it down in the comments. I'll do a little thing on an episode one time and show it to you. I'll see if I can find somebody with it or whatever that has it and see if they're interested in showing you guys what they look like. Because like I said, there's so many of them. I don't want to stop and like go through every single one of them. It would take like forever and this video would never end. And you guys would get like super duper annoyed with that. That one's kind of cool. There's another interesting little design. I'm just kind of going through the more unique looking ones, like that one. And this is actually the head, and this is the tail. And then of course you have small crafts. Small crafts are shuttlecrafts. There's specific missions that, like the vault, that you can only do in a runabout or shuttle. Now the captain's yacht is only for lifetime subscribers. So if you're not a lifetime subscriber, you are not able to get this ship. this little shuttle. But don't worry about it. As you can see right over here, this one, the Dunab class runabout, has the exact same thing as this one. The Class F shuttle, it has the same thing. But this one, I believe you have to buy the original Star Trek, the original show pack to get this one. That one's really neat, and it actually has 2 bridge officer stations. Now, if you see these grayed out ones, that's universal. That means you can put science, tactical, or engineer inside it. And then we get into the very interesting ones, like the fighter, the stalker, but of course these 3 actually, are all 3 C-store items. And then of course you have others. Now these are newer. They were not here when it first came out. There was no option for other, really. But you have that big ship, and these are gigantic ships. And one thing you want to look at whenever you're building your ship is how many consoles are there, how many bridge officer stations are there, and what are they? And each one also has a tier to it as well. You can see the tier right up here at the top right hand corner of the screen. And some of them, like this one, says T6. That means that's the highest tier there is. And this is what some of the others look like. That one right there is really cool. That's a fleet, I believe. Yeah, that's a fleet ship. So you need fleet modules and credits for that. Fleet credits, not regular credits. I mean, just rephrase that before I sound stupid. Now, fleet modules, I think you can get them in-game. I can't remember. Like I said, it's been a while, but each one would be 500. So if you bought them from the C-store, this one would take you 2,500 credits. 2,500 Z credits to get that. And the actual name of the Z credits, so I stop sounding like an idiot, is Zen. Right there. So if you wanted that ship and you didn't want to have to pay for, you didn't want to have to do it in-game somehow, it would cost you 30 bucks basically. So try to get your fleet module in-game if you can. And then of course you have ships in the C-store. Give me a minute to remember exactly how to click it. Could have sworn there was an option. Wow. 13,000. How much would that cost you? That would cost you almost $200 to buy that whole friggin' thing. Unless you pay membership or have a lifetime, then you just wait for it to build up. You get 500 Zen a month. Give me a second. I'm trying to remember. I could have sworn there's a way to click it so that you just see what you can use, but I can't remember exactly how that works. Give me 1 second here. See, like this should tell me that I can't use it because I freaking can't use it. This is the Klingon version of the Katane, known as the Farrison, but we'll get into that another time. We're not talking about Klingons right now. But basically, like these ships you can use, and these ships, those ships, I believe you can use that. And again, you have to look down in the description, and somewhere down here, right there, Tier 6 Faction Starfleet. Make sure you look at the faction just to be on the safe side. You don't want to waste your Zen on the wrong faction. Rank required, Vice Admiral. Make sure you're the right rank. And then it says your hull strength at certain levels. It says all that. How many devices, how many weapons in the front, how many weapons in the back, how many bridge officer stations, how many console modifications you have, like 5 tactical, 4 engineer, 2 science. Make sure you read all this. Compare them. If you want to, go to the wiki and look them up. Make sure you're getting the right stuff. That one's really interesting looking. Is that Starfleet? Yep, sure is. Now, like, for example, if I bought this on my character right now, it's a Klingon thing. So, it would not be smart for me to buy that. And yes, they have, as you can see, they have bridges that you can set up for that. Dry dock slots are, basically, dry docks are where you put your ships. And I'll show you that real quick. Basically, dry dock is managed ships. This is a dry dock right here. I have my small crafts here. And my main ships here. And you can actually go to, give me a second to find them. Manage. Customize ship. And the nice part is you can hit the F key if you're on, I think it's the A button on Xbox and the X button on PS4, but don't quote me on that. And you can go to customize starship or customize shuttle. And you can bring it in here. You can spin it where you need it. And then you can change the interior here to whatever you want. If you're looking for Star Trek Next Generation, that would be this one right here, the Galaxy class. That's one of the Next Generation versions. And there's others in here as well. That's the original one. Star Trek original. From like Kirk and Spock and all that. Not the remake versions, the original with Leonard Nimoy, rest his soul, and all them. And then of course you have all these different ship designs that you can get for your ships. Let me zoom out. And you can either do a full pre-made version of the ship, or you can go to advanced. And advanced will bring this up. Now what you can do here is you can pick which one you want. For example, this is the hull is the first one, which is the body right down here at the bottom. And you can pick a body that you want. Like that. Like, you know what, we're going to go with the Yamato. And then you can pick a saucer, which is right here obviously. Spin it a little bit here and get a better look at it. I'm going to go with the Venture. And then you have the neck, and the neck is right up in here. It's this part right in here. I like the Galaxy version. And then of course the pylons. Spin that like that. Bring it around. It's not easy to maneuver this thing on the PC at all. And as you can see where the pylons are, we're going to go with the Yamato. Just to make it, you know, wider out. Make it look bigger than it really is. Now we're doing the center nacelle. Because of the fact that this one has this one has 3 nacelles. It has a center one that I can do one thing with, which we're gonna go with the Yamato. And then under this one, I think we'll go with the Monarch. And that's not going to cost me any Zen, but to change it, because I've already done the change once, it'll cost me actual money, in-game money. And then of course, let's see, where is that? The saucer. So we'll go to the saucer, and now the pattern is actual colors, which they're not showing. Is it on the bottom? Let me turn this to bright red for a minute. That might help. Alright, so let's find somewhere we'll actually frickin' color. It may not color it. Yeah, it's not going to color mine because of the fact that mine is special designed. I have special views on mine, so it's not going to color it. But if you didn't have what I have on mine, you'd be able to color it. And those are basically different designs for the colors. We might be able to do it on here. Let's take a look. Go to red. Go to purple. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you see how it's changing? Like that right there. That's really cool. I like that. I'm gonna stick with that. Yeah, I use the original one. Now, what I was saying about designing the bridges and how they all have different bridges. If you go up to this arrow, click down, you go to visit the Starship Bridge, you say yes. You can actually go on the bridge, and all the bridge officers you have in position will actually be in position on your bridge. There's a lot of people that will actually hang out. Now, I'm telling you this right now. If one person's flying their ship, you cannot go on their bridge because you can't go from area to area, nor can you move around while you're on someone's bridge. Basically, your ship stops. So when you're in an instance where there is chance of combat, you cannot do it. It's only open space that you can actually sit on a bridge. So I'll be back as soon as it loads. Alright, so now we're on my bridge, and I will show you this real quick. Now, under stations, I have Bubba J, Tarsi, Ahura, Kagatasilla, and Gregoro. And I don't know why you're there. That one should be someone else. No. Anyway, now as you can see, there's Gorgoria. There's Tarsi. There's Kaga. She's a Borg, by the way. You can get Borg bridge officers as a lifetime subscriber as well. So you get a lot of stuff. There's Zet. He's one of my crewmen. Go over here. There's Bubba J. He's a Borg. I got him during an event. Squisher, one of mine. That's an inside joke. Over here you have a basic engineering officer. And a plaque, which you will never read. If you ever can read that, just let me know. And I mean, honestly, there's a lot you can do. There's a lot of roleplay you can do. You have your own captain's room where you can set up your own designs over here. You've got yourself a library. You've got yourself contact duty officers for missions and stuff. So you have your own captain's ready room. There's a lot of roleplay that you can do, and there's people that actually roleplay in Star Trek Online. So let's go to the crew deck now. This is the crew deck. And the crew deck has things like, what's this? A big ass hallway. Giant hallway! This is the 10 forward, basically the dining area. I have a cook and a bartender. I have a counselor around here. Yep, there's my mental counselor. I don't know why the counselor hangs out in the 10 forward in the cafeteria lounge, but they do. You can see out in the world, or in space, not in the world, but in the space. Got another door over here. And you do have replicators. You can't use them, but those are the replicators. That's where they would replicate food. Okay, that's a locked door. Breaking into the kitchen. Talk to the chef. And he'll give you your credentials. Host meal for visiting dignitaries. And that's a mission. So you can do crew missions straight off the crewmen themselves. Like the chef, the bartender, the counselor, yada yada, so on and so forth. There's some in the medical area as well, which I believe might be down here. Take a look at the map. Yes, there's one more thing down here on the map. We're gonna go look at that real fast. Run! Get out of the way! Why don't these people move? I'm their captain. Move it, Tiny. Kind of look like the height of XP crafted on on the game. Okay, so here's my house. This is my living quarters. As the captain, you get your own living quarters. Special, huh? Get your own little special design bedroom, your own room. If you're role playing, you can have someone pretend to sit here the best they can. Good luck on that. They have city modes. You just have to line it up just right to get there. And someone can actually be your thing. Now, if you click on Bridge Invitations over here on the right side, you can actually type in the character at handle, and it will actually bring it'll invite other players onto your ship so that you guys can do your role plays. Because there's actual fleets out there that, like I said, they literally roleplay Star Trek, like in detail, hardcore roleplay Star Trek. And I'm not downing them. I think they actually have a lot of amazing skill to be able to do it. I couldn't do it. It saved my life. This back into 10 forward. No, medical wing. And here's the doctor that you can do some of those crew things with in your medical facility. So if you're role playing and you're one of the medical staff, you'd be in there. Run back down. No, I'm missing the elevator or the turbo lift somewhere. I don't remember where the turbo lift is. Give me a second, I'll find it. There it is. Turbo lift to engineering. Yay! And this is the next level, the engineering level. And a lot of the designs, remember, whatever you have for a bridge design, it will modify your entire ship accordingly. So, for example, I have one specific design. So, my entire ship is that way. Like this one, it's rounded. Because this is up in the saucer area. And here you have your scientist. And this is kind of like your science area. Now that doesn't mean the science officer area, that just means it's science, because the doctors are also, in Starfleet, the doctors are also part of the science crew. So you always have to remember that. There's a lot of people that get that mixed up. But doctors are part of your science, medical professionals, literally the science team is, well, science, hence science. And one more up. Don't worry, we're almost done. Hang in there, guys. And then, of course, this is the engineering room. This is your engine itself. You've got your engineer here that you can do crew missions with. And crew missions will get you certain things. For example, I'll show you this real quick, go into detail. So, ship repair components. Now, you see, I brought that up. That's a mission. Now, depending on who you put on the mission, it has a critical, a success, a modest success, and a disaster. Now I'm going from disaster up. And you get these rewards. And you get them according to what you do. Like you get 35 here, 98 experience there. 4 expertise there, 11 expertise there. 50 there, 250 developmental there. So if you get a critical success, you actually get more than what it says here. Alright. So that's pretty much the whole Starfleet side. Don't worry about the Romulans that split between the Federation and the Klingon. I'll have a video that'll go over those races, faction and races as well as everyone else. I'm just seeing if there's any more doors I can go through. Yay! And I hurt myself. 41 points of damage. See if there's any more areas I haven't shown you yet. Ah, transporter room. You're gonna like this. This is interesting. And literally they have people who stand here and roleplay inside this area. This is your transporter room. It's supposed to transport you from area to area. You're on your ship, so you'd say leave ship interior. And of course you have your operations officer, and she does the small crafts where you can ready up the ship, or you can go to the small craft. I forgot how, but if I remember correctly, you can. Alright, so now you've seen pretty much the whole basics of how it works when it comes to the Starfleet. So don't forget, hit subscribe. Don't forget that subscribe button if you're new and haven't before. There's also a notification icon, bell. Don't forget that thumbs up the button to like the videos. Feel free to share this on your Facebook, your Twitter. Feel free to share any of my videos any way you see fit. Feel free to spread my name, get my name out there. And I'll see you guys on the next video. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday, since this will pop up at noon on a Tuesday afternoon for me on the eastern side. And of course, this being Corvus Wayasti, later days.